Thank you, David. We're continuing with this issue. New polling has revealed Aussies want to see tougher gun laws, with 3/4 of respondents calling for a crackdown. For their take, let's bring in Amanda Rose, founding director of Western Sydney Women, and Logan City Mayor John Raven. Morning to you both. The support for these tougher laws goes right across the political spectrum, Amanda, from Labor, from One Nation supporters, from coalition voters, 80 to 82%. Were you expecting Aussies to be so united on this? Does that surprise you?
Well, fear does unite people, right? And everyone, rightfully so, is extremely fearful. I think what's concerning is the fact just because you bring in legislation doesn't mean people are going to follow it. You're not getting criminals sitting around the coffee table saying, oh no, this legislation's coming in, we better stop using guns or we better stop obeying the law. I think what we need to do is look at why laws that are currently in place aren't being followed. So we see there's crime everywhere, whether it's knife crime, gun crime, corruption. Why do whether it's the police force and they need more powers, or the judges and magistrates are letting people out on bail, why aren't these laws being pretty much enforced but also kept? Because just creating more legislation is going to restrict probably the people that follow the law, like, you know, the good citizens, but criminals aren't going to. So
yeah, but this is about, you know, strengthening those gold standard gun laws that Australia is known for, that we have discovered in the last 8 to 9 days aren't actually as rigorous as they should be.
Well, they're not. But even then, if they'd actually said, well, hang on a minute, this person should be having... I mean, I'm all for the fact that people shouldn't own 6 guns and things like that, but it's more the fact of why don't we review what's currently in place and why it hasn't been followed and why people are getting away with it. But also, illegal firearms is something we need to focus on as well, because it's rampant.
Yeah, and hopefully this investigation will cover all of that. John, I want to come to you as a politician. We're hearing on our text line here that people don't want politicians damning each other at this time. They want politicians, or they say politicians on both sides should be ashamed. Were you surprised to hear that Anthony Albanese and Susan Lee haven't really even been speaking on the phone?
I was, and in 1996, after Port Arthur, there was bipartisan support. So John Howard came out and made Australia the safest country in the world when it comes to guns, and Kim Beazley stood with him 100%. The attacks that we've seen Susan Lee just talking about, the petty attacks, the personal attacks, aren't helping anyone. At times like this, Australians expect our leaders to actually work together. And because this isn't about votes or scoring cheap gotcha moments, this is about keeping Australians safe and making them feel safe. I was speaking to people in a shopping centre yesterday who have cancelled their plans to go to the Gold Coast for Christmas because they're scared to go to the beach. When Australians are scared to go to the beach, we don't just want our politicians to sit there firing shots at each other. We want them to work together, hand in glove, no nonsense, no partisanship, and actually make people feel safe again, because we know we're the greatest country in the world. But to enjoy that, to be able to enjoy our beaches, we need to feel safe to go there.
Yeah, and a lot of people are rethinking their plans, aren't they? Just thinking about being in crowds and what they're doing over the Christmas break. I want to get your opinion on this, completely different topic. Voice notes. Rowan Atkinson has weighed in on this. It's when people, of course, record their thoughts and messages rather than texting or calling, kind of like a personal podcast delivered to your phone. Here's what he had to say.
Voice notes sort of put the obligation on the listener, don't they? It's much easier to leave a voice note than write a text, but it's much easier to read a text than listen to a voice note. So it's sort of shifting the burden, I feel, from sender to receiver, which is not really fair.
You know, Mr. Bean has nailed this. Amanda, I mean, it's just the definition of selfishness.
Well, what's funny, you said burden. I mean, you shouldn't be communicating with someone if you feel like it's a burden to listen or to send something or listen to a voice text. I like voice notes, right?
You're a voice note.
I am. Well, I mix, right?
Yeah.
But voice notes also, you can have tone, especially if you want to tell a funny story to your friend. But also when they send it, I can press play and get stuff done. I can do my makeup, listen to a voice.
Is there a limit though? Is sort of a minute, 2 minutes?
Oh, look, if you're sending me a 30-minute voice note, I'm going to have to block you. We can no longer be friends.
Savage.
What about
Absolutely
you?
savage.
Do you send voice notes?
No, I do not send voice notes. At the risk of sounding like a boomer, I send a text message because usually I'm in meetings. So I don't, if I'm in a meeting and I'm trying to multitask, I don't really have time to do a voice note. But I just want to point out that Rowan Atkinson is a dead set genius. So if Rowan Atkinson says they're a bad idea, I'm with Rowan.
Right.
Let's go with him.
Maybe it's a generational thing. You know, you want to hear these sort of elaborate stories dictated to your phone.
It's the tone and the delivery. You know, if I've got a really funny story of something that just happened to me or something dramatic, I'm going to tell my friend, and I've got the ups and downs with my voice. But he's right regarding the text in meetings. You know, I am not pressing play on a voice message from my friend in a meeting. I may lose that business.
I mean, we could be opening a Pandora's box here with the Sunrise. Send us a voice note.
Oh, no,
please don't.
Voice notes. Thank you so much, John and Amanda. Have a very Merry Christmas. It's been wonderful chatting to you on the show this year.
Thank you.
Take care, Eddie.
Wonderful. Here's David.